Good morning. Good morning. Glad to see everybody here this morning. So, it looks like we have Doug Watts will be our speaker this morning. And, Rebecca Hall is back with our beautiful flute as our guest musician. And then we have Rick on piano. So if you would turn off your phones, put them on silent during the service, we'd appreciate it. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Good morning.
And to those on the internet, on Facebook Live, thank you for joining us today. We hope you get as much of the services as we get. Well, I have to start out this time. I heard about that church down the road, and I have to share this with you. There was a pastor of a church, and he had been invited by some of his congregants to come to a Sunday dinner. So, of course, at that point in time, he came, and he was sitting there, and there was a mother and a father and a little girl. She was about 6. Her name's Alice. And they were all there, and they came, and they gathered around the table, and everyone sat. And the mother said to the little Alice, she said, "Why don't you say the blessing for us?" He said, "Okay." So everyone bowed their head, and, there was complete silence. And the mother said, "What's wrong, honey?" And she said, "Well, I don't know what to say." And the mother said, "Well, just say what Daddy said at breakfast." Okay. "Oh, dear Lord, why did you have to invite the pastor for dinner tonight?" Down the street, that's the church. I was thinking about our church, and I was thinking about so many of us with the gifts and talents that we have here. We have such gifts and talents of the people that come here. And normally when we talk about gifts and talents, we talk about maybe Romans 12:6, where it says, if you can speak, speak, or if you prophesize. But I wanted to get just a little bit more, normal, or a little bit more down to earth. So I picked out Exodus, and it's the second book in the Bible, Exodus 35:35. I want to read this to you. It's not long. "He has filled them with skill to do all kinds of work as engravers, designers, embroiderers, in blue, purple, and scarlet, yarn and fine linen, and weavers. All of them skilled workers and designers." And it makes me think of the gifts and the talents of those that are machinists, and the gifts and the talents of those that are therapists, and the gifts and the talents of those that are teachers, and the gifts and the talents of those that are business people. We all have so many gifts and talents. I'm not a huge fan of. I know there's a TV program, and I've only watched a few minutes of it. I'll tell you that, but it's called AGT, America's Got Talent. And I think it's got, let me think, it's Howie Mondale, Heidi Klum, Sophia, and then Simon Cowell. And boy, they have such interesting acts. They have, musicians, and they have magical people, and then they have dancers and singers. They have just an array of talent. And I was thinking about us here, each one of us individually. Oh, I know we have some talents here. We have people that when you walk in that door can make you feel so good by just saying hi. And we have talent with people that can balance the books. And we have talent with people that know how to make other people feel good. We have talent with people that can play music. Oh, the music just touches our hearts, lifts our soul up. We have such talent here. I don't really know why I looked this week, but I had to look. That was I wanted to see how old people live in America. Just the average age. The average age of an American is 78 years old. Now, I know women generally live a little longer than men do. And when I saw that, I thought, we only have if you have a child and you're in the 50s, maybe they're 30 or 35. Or if you're 60, your child might be 38, maybe 40. Or if you're a little older, your child might be a little older. And reminds me of, we don't have that many more summers together, do we? They're limited. They're limited, maybe 10, 12, 15 more summers in life together. And then it made me think the gift of love. The gift of love. That's our primary gift to one another, is that gift of love. There was a writer named author Elizabeth Charles. And she wrote, she said, the forest would be a sad place if only the best songbirds sang. Each of us have a gift to give to each other. Listening and that gift of love. Thank you. Well, now is our time for, we call it our statement of being. It's who we are. And I'm going to ask us to do this time. Let's try to say it all together, and I'll try to recite it with you, okay? Let's go together. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God, and am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Thank you.
Wrong one? Which one am I supposed to be
The
doing?
one that practiced in this morning.
I thought that was it, number 14? Sorry, my mistake here.
It was on at the CD3. There's a
Was it on this one?
Yeah.
Number 14? All right, sorry, my mistake.
There are no mistakes.
My misunderstanding. Sorry, Rebecca. Okay, we'll get this right in a minute.
While they're goofing around, I don't find the other papers that need.
Number
There,
17.
Do what?
17.
17 on that one? Okay.
Are you sure? Hang on. Oh, track 4 on the CD3.
All right. All right. Third time's a
I
charm.
think I've heard it.
Number 4, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Now's the time we call it our healing meditation. And if you're at home, we invite you to go within with us also. It's the time we get to sit in our seats and release and relax. I know many of us brought problems here today. Oh, I know. I can feel them. I know what you're talking about. Maybe someone's stressed or anxious about something. But for just a few moments, I'm going to invite you to just let that go. Because I want us to praise, to be thankful for all that's been given to us. Our eyes to even see the sun, the sky, and these beautiful flowers in front of me. For the companionship of others. For the companionship of our pets. For love prevails. Love prevails. We trust that blessings abound. That is our faith, our truth, our assurance. We relax with gratitude and joy, knowing that good must be expressed. Good will be expressed. Good is being expressed. Open your heart, my beloved. Open your heart and let that good, that truth, that love of God be centered in your heart, in your life. In these next 90 seconds, I invite you on your own and those that are at home to just pray in your own inner voice as we meditate further with our Father, Mother God, beginning now. We bathe in light and love all those whose hearts might be hurting, all those who have health issues. Even for some of our members that aren't here today, we ask that they know the truth of themselves, that they are all children of God. Father, thank you for bringing us just this moment of peace. I bring you peace, peace which surpasses all understanding. And it is so. Amen. We've started reading our Lord's Prayer, our Nora version. Please, if you would, recite with me the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who is everywhere, your name is sacred, your kingdom is come. Your will is throughout the earth, even as it is throughout the universe. You give us our needful bread from day to day, and you forgive us our offenses, even as we forgive our offenders. And you let us not enter into materialism, but you separate us from error. Because yours are the kingdom, the power, and the song and praise, from all ages, throughout all ages, sealed in faith, trust, and truth. Amen. Oh, I hate to date myself this way, but I'm going to tell you. I don't know if you remember some years back. It's been, I don't know, 70s or 80s. Remember when the Kodak camera came out? It was you could click it and you get an instantaneous picture, and you could and the picture would come out. Oh, that was the big thing back then. You didn't have to take the film in to be developed. Well, we in the insurance industry at the time would use the Kodak camera. When you wrote a new homeowner's policy or commercial building or something, they'd say, "Go take a picture." They want to, put it in the files. Well, you'd go out and look at the house, and it probably wasn't exactly what people said. You find out the yard wasn't mowed and trash in the yard, and maybe the gutters were down or something. So I do know some agents that would actually go, "Oh, I missed the picture." Now they take a picture of another house, send that in. Well, believe it or not, an agent would do that. I can't believe they do that, but I know some that did. And today we're going to be talking about that brief picture, that scene that you get, as opposed to the whole story. Now, I'm probably going to be talking today to somebody who might be in the scene of their life where they think, well, that job's just not going like I thought it would. I thought I'd have more fun at it, and the pay would be better, or I thought I'd get a raise by now. Or you know what, that relationship, that's not what I wanted. I didn't know he was going to be like that, or she was going to be like that. We grew apart. I don't know how that happened. I'm probably going to be talking to somebody who's in a particular scene in their life right now. But I want you to know that's not the whole story. That's not the whole story. We're going to be talking about the whole story. Well, they say confession's good for the soul or for the heart. I have to say this. I recently went on a trip, and I went down to Asheville, North Carolina. And to do this, I had my co-pilot with me. She did a wonderful job, by the way, just keeping me on track. And every road was perfect. And turn here, turn there, just perfect. But I had the bright idea when leaving Roanoke, well, let's just go 81, and then we'll go 81 south, and we'll go by, Withfield and Dublin, and we'll come to Kingsport, Tennessee, and then we'll take a left on I-26, and go I-26, I guess it was east, all the way down to Asheville. I thought that would be something different, because normally people go down to Winston-Salem, take a right on 40 and go over. But of course, I wanted to do it a little differently. Well, we're going along, and we get to Kingsport. She says, "Take a left." And I took a left, and we're going along. And I noticed that we're driving up like a slow kind of incline for 20, 25 minutes. You could look, and there's no filling stations anywhere. No, nothing. We're getting into the mountains of the Smoky Mountains. And then we're on the top of the Smoky, on a ridge. You can look down. It's not like our mountains here. We can look down and actually see a valley. It's just one mountain after the other. Oh, there were some nice vistas. And then we got to a sign that says, "Truckers, beware. If you got 3 axles, beware." Oh, my gracious. "Truckers, check your brakes." Well, then we started going down that mountain. And we started going down, and you didn't touch your accelerator because you're going 70, 75 miles an hour, and you had to tap your brakes every now and then just to keep them going out of control. And you can look over to the right, and about every quarter of a mile, there's a place for runaway truckers to go up into a sand berm. About every quarter mile, you came upon another one, and another one, and another one. I thought, oh my gracious. And you're going down this horrible mountain, and it goes on and on and on. And there was a truck in front of me, and you could smell these brakes. I thought, there's no way I'm getting in front of him. And we're going on and on and on for maybe 15 minutes. And I'm not an anxious person. I'm not a nervous person. But I found myself holding the wheel a little bit more. My knuckles would get a little white, and I looked over at the co-pilot. She's fine. But I was getting nervous. And if you looked at that scene, you'd say, Doug, you're a nervous person. You're an anxious person. There's a runaway trucker thing, one after the other after the other. Doug, you're a nervous person. Well, it was right then. But that's not the whole story, is it? That's not it. If we looked at Joseph in the Bible, we'll find him in a pit one day, and then we'll find him in a prison, and then at the culmination of his calling and God's grace, we'll find him in a palace, ministering to others and forgiving others, helping others. We didn't stop at the scene with him in the pit. We went through the whole story. Not last week, but the week before, I talked a little bit about David. Remember, David was called. He was in the field. He was called. His father said, go give food to your brothers. And he was called. And he witnessed Goliath with the troops facing off against the Israelites. And David said, I can take care of this. And he got his rock and his slingshot. He went out there and he knocked Goliath down on the ground. But we didn't talk about when he did that. I don't know if he killed Goliath at that point, but he took Goliath's sword and cut his head off. We didn't go into that. And then he took that sword later and gave it to a priest. And the priest put it in the tabernacle, and it stayed there for years. And when David was running from King Saul, who wanted to kill him, and he ran to the cave in Adullam, he stopped by that same tabernacle and he said to the priest, I need a weapon. I need a weapon. And the priest said, that sword you brought me is still here. And he gave David the sword. Do you see how that went full circle? A sword that was used for untold bad ended up to be protection later. Full circle. We're not going to look at a scene. Full circle. There was a man he was walking through Shunem, 2 Kings 4. Shunem, I had to look, of course. Shunem was a small town. It was a wealthy town. It was off a trade route between Egypt and Samaria. And this man was walking. That was his regular trek. Matter of fact, he walked through Shunem. His name was Elisha. He was a prophet, a man of God. And this lady, she was a rich lady from the area. And she kept seeing him walk around, walk by. And she said, one day she said to her husband, she was married, she said to her husband, why don't we invite him for lunch? Because I know he's a man of God. And so she invited him for lunch. And he sat and the bread was probably just wonderful. And the soup, spiced and a little bit of salt in it was just probably wonderful, because from then on out he would stop and he would eat with the Shunammite woman in Shunem. When said she's a wealthy woman, well, one day she said to her husband, why don't we build another story onto the house, and we'll build him a room with just a bed and a table and a chair and a lamp even. I can get it, kind of cheap. It won't be expensive. I can probably get it from the IKEA or whoever. And I guess the husband said, okay. So they built a room for him. And so then Elisha would stay in the room whenever he came by, still eating her good food. And after a while, Elisha, he had a servant named Gehazi. And after a while, Elisha said, what can we do for her? What can I do for this woman? And the woman the whole time is thinking, what can I do for him? So Elisha calls her up. She comes to the door. And Gehazi says, what can we do for you? She says, oh, I have everything I need. I need nothing. I have it all. She gave, not to get, but she gave because she knew every gift was from God. But then Gehazi said, you know what? She's barren. Elisha had the bright idea. He said, because her husband was old and she was getting old too. And I know at that time you had to have sons, didn't you? So Elisha said, a year from now, you'll have a son. I'm going to paint the room blue. You're going to have a son. She said, oh, don't tease me like that. Don't tease me like that. Well, a year later, she had a son. Luke 6:38, give and it shall be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. She gave, not wanting to get. Her mentality was the same as his. She was giving, trying to give to him, and he was giving back to her. Well, this isn't the whole thing, She did have a baby boy. God's promises do come true, don't they? God promised her. I want to just leave that subject just for a second and talk about sometimes today, we have Facebook, and we have Instagram, and we have Snapchat, and I think we have TikTok, and I don't know, some others. And I'm not on any social presence. I guess I'm not cool enough. But we have a habit of looking at a Snapchat or an Instagram and going, oh, this is a scene from someone's life. Their life must be wonderful. They're doing everything I wish I could do. They're going on vacations everywhere I wish I could go. And look, their children even love them. And because of that, we live in a world where there's body shaming and there's bullying and people are dissatisfied and anguished because of all this social things that we do. Well, we need to talk more about the woman, the Shunammite woman and her boy. Later, he went out to the fields and he was helping, as he grew up, he was helping his father out in the fields. His father was harvesting. And the boy became sick. He had a headache really bad. And the father did what any man does in this instance. He said, go see your mother. So he went to the mother and he sat on her lap. It was about 12 noon, and he died in her arms. And she took his body and laid it up in the room, Elisha's room. Now, I like this woman, this Shunammite woman. I really like her. She immediately said, saddle up my donkey, I'm going to get Elijah. I'm not taking no for an answer. So she went straight to the source. She went straight to Elisha. Gehazi, the servant, saw him coming and said, she's coming. And Elisha said, go see what she wants. And he went out there. She said, everything's fine. I'm going to see Elisha. So she presented herself to Elisha. She fell at his feet. She said, I told you not to tease me about having a son. I told you, if you're going to take my boy away, I told you. I'm not leaving till you come and help me. I like this woman. So Elisha came to the house, went up to the room, laid down on the boy mouth to mouth, eye to eye, got up and walked around the room, laid down again, mouth to mouth, eye to eye. The boy sneezed 7 times, and he got up and he was brought back to life. What a story. It's a story about God's grace, isn't it? A story that you can't outgive God, isn't it? But wait, that's not the whole story. There's more. People miss this. They don't miss this. They don't read Second Kings 4. They miss 2 Kings 5, 6, 7. You need to bypass them. It ends with 2 Kings 8. Let me read this to you. 2 Kings 8. Elisha's talking. Now, Elisha has said to the woman whose son he had restored to life, go away with your family. Stay for a while wherever you want. Because the Lord has decreed a famine in the land that will last 7 years. Well, she took his advice and she left for 7 years. When she came back at the end of 7 years, she found that her home, her land had all been overtaken by someone else. Let me tell you, I like this woman so much. She didn't go to the mayor of the town. She didn't go to a city councilman or anything. She went straight to the king. She just marched herself straight to the king. I really like her. She's got guts, confidence. I like that in her. And as she's coming, listen to God's timing. Listen to this. Gehazi, the king has asked Gehazi, tell me about Elisha. Tell me a story about Elisha. They're having a meeting. So Gehazi is telling him about Elisha and how one time he raised a boy from the dead. Oh, what a story. You see, it wouldn't be a story if it was just another mother with a child. But he raised a boy from the dead. Just at that moment, watch God's timing, she comes walking through the door. Gehazi says, that's her. That's the woman I'm talking about. That's her. I know her anywhere. I haven't seen her in 7 years, but I know who she is. That's her. What timing. And she says to the king, someone's taken my home and my land. And the king must have liked her too. He said, I will restore your home, your land, and even the income that you would have earned from the first day you left. That's the end of the story. That's the end of the story. She was restored. God is the I am and operates according to our ability to receive. That's the story. God is the I am and operates according to our ability to receive. That's the full story. We study, we learn. That's the only way. Measured out, pressed down, thrashed together, rolling over. That's our full story. That's our full story. Receiving God in our lives. Receiving His love. Will you go within with me? God, let me betray more of the Shunammite's characters. Let me be bold in my convictions for you. Let me not sway or go to another or have to have the opinions for other people, social media. Let me study and learn and receive more of you in my life. And it is so. Remember I was talking about talents earlier? Thank you so much. Thank you. Now's the time in our service where we get to give back, just like the Shunammite woman. Please, if you would, recite with me the blessings of the gifts. Today, I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the special gift that I am. Through me, God omnipresent, blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Just so you know, the scene that happened the first of Rebecca's is not always the case. We usually are a little more organized, and I apologize, Rebecca. I don't know what I was doing back there, but anyhow, I'll try to do better. So that's not the whole story. Just so you know, the flowers today are sponsored by Maria for Lisa's birthday. So thank you again for sponsoring flowers again. Take them. Take some flowers again. All right. Okay. Let's see, we're still, the flower calendar is pretty empty now for the rest of the year, so if anybody wants to sponsor flowers, please sign up and give Nancy $25 so she can take care of them, and she does a wonderful job. So thank you, Nancy, for always doing such a great job. Talent?
Thank you, Nancy.
So the only other announcement I have is that hopefully the floor will be finished Monday or Tuesday. They're coming tomorrow. The rest of the flooring came in, so they should finish it up hopefully by Tuesday. So hopefully by next week we'll have it back together. So anyhow, and we're still collecting money. Anybody wants to donate money to help pay for the cost of the floor, ends up costing us about $8,000. So anyhow, we'll take all the money you want to give us. So anybody else have anything? Louisa, did you have anything? Or okay, all right. Let's go eat some birthday cake from Miss Nancy. Today is her birthday, so everybody wish her a happy birthday. And she's 25 again.
Now's the time in our service where I will step down here. We think of the peacekeepers and I don't know, the doctors that without borders and people that try to help other people in the world. And here are some of the hot spots in the world that we try to hold in our hearts and in our minds. And we've been saying a prayer of protection. And I would like you to recite with me this prayer that I hope everyone can see. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. The mind of God guides you. The power of God abides in you. The strength of God renews you wherever you are. God is, and all is well. Now we're just going to take 90 seconds and pray for our country. I have a feeling it might need some prayers. Please go within just for 90 seconds. Thank each of you for coming and sharing yourself with each other, sharing your love, your smile, your acceptance. Have a good Sunday and a good start to the week.